Welcome back everyone. I did something very stupid yesterday. I recorded a video but just totally forgot to upload it. So I thought, well, I might as well just record a new one with the fresh data and give you a new update here on BTC and ETH. So let's get into it. In the last update I said that once we start taking out this low, it could be a pretty quick move down because all of this is just bad lows, weekend lows. On the TPO chart it looked bad, so we got that swift move down, but we left this last little bit, this chunk of price action untouched, unfortunately. And also right here, these lows, I hope you can see it, we have an equal lows. Also this actually looks pretty bad to me, and so again then we're building up reasons to go lower. However, we are building up some steam to the upside. Let me right away show you what I mean, and that is that we have closed a couple of 4-hour candles here above this critical high right here that I already pointed out. And you could say, well, we have this trend line right here, which was nice resistance. If we would now flip that back to support, this right here actually could be a long and then to go higher. And as you can see, that is 112,000. It also lines up with being a all-time high. So that used to be an all-time high, of course, but then it was taken out. So if I quickly go to the daily, you can see that is this high right here. That was the all-time high for quite a while until we took it out. And then you can see that actually it serves as support and resistance an awful lot of times here on the daily. And therefore, as long as it serves as support and resistance, I am keeping it on the chart. So quickly back then to the 4-hour. This then right away is the first long trade that I'm looking to take. 112,000. The first target should be this high right here. Where we're bouncing off right now is not a coincidence. It is the golden pocket measured from this high to this low golden pocket, and as you can see, it also lines up with being the value area low of this range right here. Big question is, of course, now, is this now a lower high and can we expect another dump to take out these lows, or are we eventually going to go higher? The real test is actually this high right here. Once we start closing a daily candle above that high, that is 118, I need to flip my bias, because as I said in previous videos, my bias for now is bearish, but then I need to flip my bias. So yes, the 4-hour market structure, now it looks like it wants to flip back bullish, but the daily market structure, if I just quickly zoom out here to the daily, is still very much bearish. Matter of fact, let me draw it in. Then you can see that we're making lower lows and lower highs. So the question is now, are we going to see another lower low for another leg down, or are we going to see another pump take out that high, which is this high right here? Very interesting. I think it will give a lot of people a run for the money, because a lot of people here were thinking we would come much lower, but of course that didn't happen. And then over the weekend we went sideways and then higher. Then for possible short trades in this very much local area, you could short now and then put your stop loss here above. However, New York is also opening quite soon, so I would wait then for that price action. Would we lose that 112,000 and you're totally missing then that short trade, I would then short it on the back test, all right? Because then you again have lost that very important support and resistance level, and of course you also then lost this trend line again. So that actually would be then a nice trade. You can put your stop loss 1 or 2% above here and then just trade it to the downside. Obviously the target needs to be this, but better even yet would be that target right here. So then you're talking about at and around 107,000, and yeah, I'm still betting for a little bit more downside. One last thing I want to tell you about this price action right here. We saw the initial move up on a Sunday, and that was mainly a short squeeze, and later on the additional pump that was fueled by perpetual contracts. All right, so there was no spot buying, it is perp contracts, and that is something that if we are going lower, those longs in this area then need to close out, so then you could get a long squeeze to the downside, and then price could make its way back pretty fast. Keep an eye on the regular stock markets, because also those have been lagging now here a little bit. We are trying to make a bullish market structure again here on the smaller time frames, but the bigger time frames is that it looks like this might be a macro lower high, and then we are eventually rolling over. Too soon to tell, but if this starts to dump, you betcha that BTC and ETH are also taking a dump down. Alright, then let's quickly look at ETH, because also here we saw already quite the move up, but actually the price action is somewhat similar here to BTC. If you remember, and I kept this in the chart because I want to be transparent with you, I gave you two short trades in this area. One was the box here and one was a box here. Actually, they were very simple. It was a retest of here the value area low and a point of control, since it was so close to each other. Now, therefore I set it as a range. This first box would have been very nice. Would we pump higher, hit that golden pocket, maybe this trend line right here, then that could still be a short trade. Of course, we did not hit any of those trades. We just went absolutely sideways and then stair step down. Very, very annoying. However, if I would extend this fib retracement to the current price action and I would extend this box, then you could say that we now finally tapped that box and we are also coming off here off that golden pocket. Again, measured from these highs right here back to the lows, golden pocket. This could have been a very nice short trade. And also on top of that, the current high here is a super clear SFP of this high. I did not take this short because I was not awake once price was creating this kind of price action. However, that could have been a very nice short trade. You could still trade it as a short trade and then of course put your stop loss above the current high. Here the exact same. I would also wait for New York open, but this is still something you could do and then aim for the lows. But also here, just like for BTC, we are quite fast running into support, and this is of course quite important to hold or to break depending on if you're long or short. We're having this high right here, nice tap on this high, and then you can see there's also resistance here, and now we are breaking above. So the question is, can we hold it as support and then go higher? Then this is a long as well. And stop loss also here would go 1 or 2% underneath. I would take a little bit wider for ETH, 2%, because it's sometimes a little bit spiky. And then of course to trade it higher, of course I would first be aiming at this high, but then eventually these highs right here. So that would then be at around 4,500. And ta-da-ta-ta, it's almost coincidence. Also here, right at that intersection that we have for BTC, we also have an extra support and resistance for ETH, and that is what I now put in as a triple high, meaning that is a triple high on the daily candles. And because they were so close to each other, that actually formed a very strong resistance. And now you can also see that it is forming very strong support, because we have been bouncing off every time since that we are above. One last thing that I want to give you as a takeaway. This is absolutely a beauty, but I did not long this. However, I mentioned it a couple of times, and that is where we bounced off for ETH. And that is not in the middle of nowhere. It was here at 3,875. If I'm zooming out and you can see this thick white line in my screen, I told you already a couple times, this actually could be a very nice long trade, and that is the previous all-time high that we put in. Then you can see that that trend line is a tap on these highs, and now you can see that price hit it and then went higher. And I also said it a couple times already in previous videos. I said something very simple is that you could have this move up. Wait, let me zoom in. I want to be sure that you guys see it. This move up, now this resistance, and then eventually we're breaking it. We have not retested that resistance that now needs to flip in support. Here it's happening, and now we need to move higher. If you took this long, congratulations, but I would absolutely put my stop loss at least to entry, but preferably already take some profit, because if this is now the local high, or better yet a lower high in this case, then you want to be secured. And of course this was already quite a move to the upside. 8% for ETH, that is very, very decent, so make sure that you take some profit. I would, however, leave a runner in case you are in this long, because of the scenario that I just pointed out. If we're doing something like this, you want to be exposed to the long side, and I'm still looking for a good long entry, because here on Friday I did not want to enter long, although we hit that trend line, and also barely saw any buyers stepping in. That in combination with that BTC still had that very bad low that I just pointed out. Let me quickly go back. This kind of price action, I'm sorry, but it is not a long trade for me. This looks absolutely terrible. So I want to see another sweep lower before entering a long trade. So I am without a long trade from this area, but I do have my eyes out for a possible bounce, and that will then be my long entry, and I will most likely also then enter a ETH long trade, since these two coins are just trading so much in tandem. Alright guys, that'll be it for now, that'll be it for this update. If you want to have more local updates, more intermediate like during the day, then please make sure that you follow us or me on Discord. We have a handful of very good traders in there, and that is completely for free. The link to the Discord is in the description, so make sure that you check that out. Again, it is completely for free. And if you're down there anyways, also make sure that you like, subscribe, click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. See you guys very soon again in the next one. Bye bye.